Let's make elderberry syrup. It's easier than you think, and it's so good for you and your family. Here's some elderberry syrup that I made the other day. I don't know if any of you have made your own or have bought any, but it's really popular now because elderberry syrup is such a wonderful support for your immune system. So there'll be a lot to talk about, but let's get it started right away. I'm going to use an Instant Pot because it's much quicker, but you could also make this on the stove. So start off with 4 cups of filtered water, and you'll put it in your Instant Pot or in your saucepan. And also, I want to mention that there are very many variations of this recipe. It's not an exact thing that you can only do it one way. Many recipes call for 1 cup of dried elderberries, and these are organic elderberries that I purchased. For mine, I think the syrup that I make is delicious, and I use 1.5 cups. So it's a little more than the standard recipe. Later on, when it cools, we'll be adding some raw, unfiltered honey, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But in the meantime, I already juiced 1 orange and 1 lemon. They were both organic. So I'm going to put the peel of both the orange and the lemon in there, and I'm going to put some cinnamon sticks. Now, I see people usually put 2 or 4, and it's personal taste. These are small, and I, from experience, like to put 6. So we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, it's not an exact science. It's not like we're baking and something has to rise. We're just putting a bunch of good ingredients in there. And actually, before I cook it, let me see. Maybe I can just hold it for you to see. I don't know how well you can see that. You put that in the Instant Pot. You have this valve closed, and you seal the Instant Pot. And then yours might be different. I'm going to put it on pressure cook and start, and I have it set for 7 minutes. Now, again, I've seen recipes with all kind of variations on time. 7 minutes works fine for me. We're just going to let this sit. It is much quicker than it is to cook on the stove. The only thing is it does take a little bit more than 7 minutes because the Instant Pot has to get to the right pressure. So let's talk a little bit more about elderberry syrup while we're waiting for this to get to pressure. First of all, elderberries are an example of food being your medicine. This is earth medicine. This is nature being your apothecary. There's so much wisdom. There's so much health. There's so much healing, and there's so much goodness in what comes from the earth. Over the years, a lot of us have grown up in such a chemical generation where we don't connect the foods that we eat to the land. We don't really even know what farms are, and we don't connect plants to healing. But remember, before modern times, before the Industrial Revolution, everybody got their wellness through the earth. And we're going to even talk a little bit about essential oils because they come from the plants too. So I wanted to mention that. Now, the elderberries are high in vitamin C. They're high in antioxidants. And they've done many studies with elderberries and elderberry syrup that show, and I'm not a medical professional, so I'm not making any claims. You can do your own research, but there is a correlation for elderberries and elderberry syrup to support your immune system. It doesn't put it in full overdrive. It just supports it. It balances it. It makes it work well. So what my family and I do is once we have the syrup ready, we keep it chilled in the refrigerator. We take all adults, we take 1 tablespoon a day preventative. There's something just so nice about being proactive, being preventative. I'll tell you a couple of other things we do, but it's kind of like, it's just exciting. It's empowering. It feels so good to be in charge of your own health and not to have to go to a drugstore to be well, but to know that you can do a lot to support your own health and wellness and to keep your body strong. So we take 1 tablespoon a day. if we're sick or we feel that something is coming on, and I'm going to be honest with you, we really don't get sick in my family because we do so many preventive things. But once in a while, I'll feel the beginning of something in my throat or whatever. Then you just take this more often. You could take 3 or 4 tablespoons a day spread out. Now, for children, first of all, you would not give this to babies under a year old because it has raw honey. Most experts say that babies under a year old should not have raw honey. I've heard somebody say 2 years old, but most of the time I hear 1 year old. You have to consult with your pediatrician. This is so valuable because raw honey in itself is antibacterial and has a lot of health promoting properties. Again, it's nature. Like nature just works so well together, but don't give this to a baby under a year or two, and check with your doctor or do your research. Usually with children, 1 teaspoon a day is the preventative dose. And then you would give them a little bit more if they were sick. So that's one thing that I do. And then I make my elderberry syrup extra special by adding essential oils. Now, you have a couple of choices. Again, there's many variations for this recipe. I used the dried elderberries, I used cinnamon sticks, and I used orange and lemon rinds, organic. Now, some people will put in a piece of ginger, but you know what? It takes time. You have to grate the ginger. Some people will put in whole cloves. I get that type of nourishment for other reasons, but if you wanted to make it so much easier, rather than buying a piece of ginger, not using it all, having to peel a little bit, grate it, just get some ginger essential oil. This is pure ginger, and you could put 1, 2, up to 6 drops of the ginger in your cooled elderberry syrup along with the honey. You can also put cinnamon bark essential oil. Now, I have cinnamon sticks in here. Sometimes I add a couple of extra, again, 2 to 6 drops. If you like cinnamon, you can make it a little extra cinnamony. And again, there's no exact recipe for that. And, oh wait, I just realized something. This, okay. I just wanted to check something on here. I just wanted to make sure that was heating correctly. Just give me 1 second. I'll go back to the oils. I don't want it to keep warm. We'll see if that should do it. I don't know. It's not looking like I want, but hopefully that will be okay. So let me go on about the oils. You can also put frankincense essential oil into your elderberry syrup. And what makes the difference for me, I've made this and I've tasted it and it tastes great with my recipe. But when I add, this is my favorite, a few drops of lemon essential oil to it, it just gives it that extra kick, that extra freshness. There's nothing like this. So I really do love to add the essential oils. There's also clove essential oil. And I'm going to explain the essential oils in just 1 minute. Hopefully that's working okay. So let me tell you what these essential oils are, and then I'll check on the Instapot again. So essential oils are fine for cooking if you use, I only would use the Young Living Vitality oils because they're labeled for ingestion. Okay, so, okay. I just is enjoying listening to you live. Thank you. Thank you. So I see we're getting some comments in, so I really, really do appreciate that. No, that's great. We're trying out a live program, so hopefully this is going to work okay. I expect that it's going to start cooking in just a minute and get warm. So let me tell you what the essential oils are. They take a part of the plant, a leaf, a bark, a berry, a flower, a stem, a grass, and they distill it with steam. And liquid comes out. That liquid from the distillation is the essential oil. Now, this is nothing that you could buy in the store. If you buy essential oils in the store, I could almost guarantee you that they're either going to have a synthetic fragrance in them, or they're going to have some kind of perfume, or a solvent or a heavy metal or a pesticide residue or extra oils to dilute them, like fatty oil to dilute them, they are not able to be ingested. So the Young Living oils are pure, and what they do is they have some oils in white labels. They're called vitality oils, and the vitality oils are specifically labeled for ingestion. The secret is they are the exact same oil. I'm going to show you some of them. They're the exact same oil as in the regular bottle, but they are labeled for ingestion. All the oils are really pure, but I just want to tell you about that. And I want to tell you how you can cook with this. How you can cook with some of these. So there's another essential oil called Thieves, and you can also put this in your elderberry syrup if you want. But what I wanted to tell you about Thieves is this is while this is cooking, I'm going to tell you other things we do to stay healthy. This is a blend of cinnamon bark, clove, lemon, eucalyptus, and rosemary. And it's a basic oil for keeping you healthy. This is the regular one, and here is the Vitality. So this one is labeled to diffuse for topical use. This one is labeled for ingestion. So why would you ingest it? Well, you could put some in a capsule, a veggie capsule, and swallow it. You could put some in some honey. You could put some in tea. And people really, really like this. We gargle with it. We put a drop on our toothbrush. We put a drop either in warm water or in Thieves mouthwash, and we gargle with it. And it's properly labeled. But if I run out of this really is the exact same thing. It's just that the FDA says you can't label something for topical use or diffusing and also label it for ingestion. But take my word for it, the Young Living oils are totally pure. And if there is a Vitality version, then you can ingest it. So let's say there's an oil like Panaway or Raven. There's no Vitality version, so you can't ingest it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about cooking and a little bit more about the oils. And I also want to tell you how to store it. I am just looking at this Instapot, and I think it's on the last bar. Hopefully it will start the 7 minutes soon. So I've made this a number of times, but this is the first time I'm making it live, so bear with me. How do you store it? Well, the thing is, the honey is a preservative, and I see we have some comments coming in, so I'm going to just take a look at the comments. Yes, that's a great question. Somebody asked, can you make a tea out of essential oils and add them to tea? Absolutely. You can mix them in your honey. Oh, good. I think it's starting, or almost starting. Okay, I think it's moving along like it should. So you can take a tea that you like, or you could just use, you could take some peppermint essential oil. This makes a lovely tea. And put this in some hot water with a healthy sweetener of your choice, and you'll have a delicious peppermint tea. Peppermint is very strong, so what I'd like to tell you is you could just use 1 drop, or you can just open up the top and take a toothpick. Just watching this. Bear with me. I've made this a lot of times, but not on camera, and I just want to make sure the Instapot is doing what it should be doing. And you put a toothpick in there, you swirl it around, and then you can swirl that in your tea if you're afraid this will be too strong. I love to put a drop of this in my hot chocolate. And if you look on my other YouTube videos, I have a video cooking with essential oil. I love to add peppermint to brownies. So you can put 2 drops in your favorite brownie recipe or follow my brownie recipe. And yes, you can make teas out of these, and they're really, really good. I like to use the citrus oils like orange or citrus fresh in my water. I also love to add orange to pancake and waffle batter and to baked goods. I have a delicious cookie recipe. It's an orange cranberry cookie, and it has orange essential oils. See, the thing with the essential oils when you cook is that they're so fresh. It's not like a dried herb. It's not a flavoring that's been sitting on the shelf forever. It's fresh, it's vital, it's vibrant, and it really, really adds to it. That's why the lemon essential oil is really the kicker in this recipe. So, finally. Okay, I was getting a little nervous there. All right, so we should be, it's starting to count down from 7. Just something didn't look right for me, but it's counting down. So we have 7 minutes, and I know this is live. So for those of you who are sticking with me, thanks. This is what's going to happen. It's going to cook for 7 minutes, and then I'm going to strain it. Then I'm going to have to let it cool again, and then we're going to add the honey. You don't add the honey when it's hot because you'll destroy the live properties in the honey. So I'll kind of tell you just in case anybody has to go, and then I'll talk more about these vitality oils. But what happens is you cook it, you let the steam come out of the Instant Pot, you pour it. I'm going to show you. We're going to pour it through a strainer. We're going to mash the berries, get all the liquid out, let it cool, stir in the honey. After it cools, stir in the essential oils, and then you have a choice. So I happen to get this bottle in Target, and it might not look so pretty because we've been pouring on it, but I love this because it's airtight. You can hear it pop a little bit, and it opens like that. So you can store your elderberry syrup. It's also easy to pour from here. Oh, also while we're waiting, we're going to measure out the honey. But let me show you a couple of other choices you have. If you want to have a smaller bottle, I got the same version of these bottles on Amazon for 8 ounces, and you could make little bottles. These make great gifts to give to your friends and family. It's a gift of health. You can also put it in a mason jar. Here's just a little one that I have. Or you can just fill up a big size mason jar and store it that way. It's always good to store it in glass. Dark bottles technically are better, but you do want it to look a little pretty and a little nice. So if I have little bottles sometimes when I want to give to people, but again, store it in the refrigerator. The honey acts as a preservative. I would say 2 months. I've read anything from 2 people say 6 months, but usually you use it up before that. And, you just want to make sure it doesn't get any mold or fungus on it or anything like that. So I would say for an average time, you could keep it for 2 months. So let me just say 1 or 2 more things about the vitality oils. And then I want to show you a trick. We can pre-measure out the honey so that will be ready when we need it. People might not realize there are so many of these vitality oils. There's citrus fresh, there's clove, there's basil. I'm just reading some of them. Black pepper, there's lemongrass, there's frankincense, there's lime, there's tangerine, orange. There's just so many. All your spices, rosemary, oregano, thyme. But people might not realize that lavender can be used as a food additive too. You can make a lavender ice cream. You can make a lavender flavored iced tea. There's just so many creative things you could do. And whether you're making your own homemade elderberry syrup or you're cooking for guests or for your family, when you use these essential oils, your food has that little extra something. It has that kick, that alive flavor that you just can't get from any pre-made, man-made, or dried food. So I really highly recommend. And, if you want to learn more about essential oils, please contact me. All my information is on my website, which is Home, Health, and Spirit. There's also lots of blogs all about essential oils. So again, while we're waiting, this is moving along. We're down to 4 minutes. We need a cup of honey. So I want to give you a little trick. Normally, when you measure honey, it sticks to the container you're measuring in. So I took some natural wax paper and I put some coconut oil in. You could use butter, you can use whatever you want. Just a very light coating. Grease your measuring cup. And then when you measure your honey and you're ready to pour it out, it's not going to stick. So why don't we get that ready? And we're down to 3 minutes. And again, this is live. So thank you again for sticking with me as we cook this and all. So from my Home Economics, Family and Consumer Sciences Teachers Day, I'm going to tell you what I always told my students. When you measure a liquid, you never hold it up in the air or look down on it because it won't be accurate. Just like you learned about the meniscus in your chemistry class and your graduated cylinders, you have to read this at eye level. in this recipe, if you put a little more or you put a little less, it's not going to matter. But the correct way to measure a liquid is to look at it at eye level, and that's just there. Okay. And that's the raw unfiltered honey. If you're curious where I got any of these things, I have no affiliation, but I got my dried elderberries, the organic, from Amazon. I got this honey from Amazon. It was just easier. The organic fruits I just got from the supermarket, and the essential oils, of course, from Young Living. So, as I was saying, I wouldn't recommend any other company than Young Living. I've tried the other ones. They are manipulated, or they're synthetic fragrance. They're not the healthy, pure thing that comes from the earth. So we're down to 2 minutes. And again, thank you for being patient. I don't know how many of you have an Instant Pot. It's pretty cool. I'm just learning how to use it. That's why I was a little unsure of the settings before. But I tried chicken in it, and I'll try a couple of other things. But it's just so convenient to do this rather than having it cook on the stove. The other nice thing about making your own elderberry syrup is that your house smells nice. You have that real smell of berries, and we all want our homes to smell nice, to smell pleasant. And if you can see, I have 2 diffusers going. I'm diffusing pure essential oils in my kitchen. It just makes my home smell cozy, smell fresh. Oh, down to 1 minute. And the same thing with the berries. The theme here is go back to nature. Give some serious thought to all the chemicals that you bring into your home, whether it's your personal care products, if it's your cleaning products, your cosmetics. There are so many chemicals that we think it's just normal to use, and it's not. One of the worst. Oh, fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to stop it. Now, you're going to be a little surprised if any of your grandmas had old-fashioned pressure cookers. Watch for it. I'm going to vent this now, and you're going to see a big whoosh of steam. Don't get scared. It's fine, but here goes. There goes the steam. Okay, so the reason this cooked so fast is because it was under pressure, and we're going to let that pressure out, and now the fun part will begin. Thanks anybody who's hanging in with me. If you have any other questions, ask them. I have 2 wonderful friends here who are checking the comments for me and passing them on. So we'll let that steam go out, and then we'll be able to open it. So, and remember, if you don't have an Instant Pot, you can cook this on the stove. You would put all the same ingredients in a big saucepan. You'll heat it to boiling, and then once it boils, you'll lower it, you'll simmer it, you'll stir it occasionally. Just like with this, your house is going to smell beautiful. You don't need this special thing. I just like to try the different gadgets, and I couldn't do this live if it's going to take me an hour to do it on the stove. So anyway, it cooks quicker because it's under pressure. It's like a modern electric version of your grandma's old-fashioned pressure cooker, if any of your grandmas had that. And this should be done venting in a minute, and then I'll open it up. I'll show you what we have inside, and we can move forward with making the elderberry syrup. Please let me know if you have any questions about the elderberry syrup, about essential oils, I have other ideas while this is going to cool. I'm going to tell you more ways to stay healthy during the winter. And okay, so there's a little flap, and it went down. So I'm going to just give it a minute. I have some pot holders handy because the inner pot inside, I want to be very careful because it's going to be hot. And I'm going to open this up now. And this has this cool feature. Wait, let me just show you. I can put this like this. Is this the right side? This little, let me get this right. Oh, here it is. You can just hold it like that right there and keep it out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to push this a little bit out of the way, and I'm going to show you what we have inside. It smells so good. Remember, this is health. This is wholeness. I can't emphasize enough the wisdom of the earth, and that's why I'm just absolutely crazy about the essential oils. If you knew how many like things I do to be preventative or to keep my family healthy because I have Earth's medicine, it's just really amazing. So anyway, I'm gonna just push. Actually, I just want to get this out of the way. Put it down there so I can push this aside. Oh, I don't know what I knocked. Maybe on my side. Well, anyway, did I knock something on this side? Okay. I don't know how much you can see, but this is what it looks like. And I am going to now pour this into the measuring cup. What did I do? Oh, it was just my measuring cups. Okay. Thank you. I didn't realize I had that. All right. You're going to need an 8-cup glass measuring cup and a large strainer. And we are going to pour the contents of this, just push that out of the way, into here. And you'll see. Now the elderberry stain, be careful. Don't wear anything really good when you're using them. A lot of my friends like to taste this. Oh, what do you use your elderberry syrup for? Oh, I use it, so I know some of you might have just been joining me, to stay healthy. It's a preventative, it's a proactive way to keep yourself healthy in the winter. There's been all kinds of studies. Now remember, I am not a medical professional, but there are all kinds of studies that showed that it reduces the chances of you of getting cold and flu or reduces the severity of it. It's very, very popular now. It's just, there was one study, and again, I'm just giving you anecdotal advice, not medical advice, but there was a study that showed that it preempted the H1N1, something like that, cold virus or something, from getting into the cells of your body. You can do your research about it. It just feels good. You know, it just feels good to drink it because it's so, so from the earth. But it really does help with your immune system. It balances your immune system. It supports your immune system. It's preventative in the winter. Yeah, even my son, those of you who know me know my son James. He lives in a group home. He has it with him. He takes a tablespoon every day. So I'm smashing the berries now, but I want to show you another little trick, especially that we want this to cool down quickly. What I'm going to do, this is not necessary. If you're at home, you can take your time, but I have all of you watching. So I am going to pour some of this syrup into another measuring cup, because if I divide it in two, it will cool faster, and then I'll have more space to drip some whatever else is left in the berries. So I'm just going to pour. Hopefully this will neat. You can see it's a syrup, but it's still, you see it pouring, it still looks like a juice. It's thin. When we add the honey to it, it will be more like a syrup. But I'll stop there. I want to have some of it out here to cool quicker, and then I'm just going to, you see with the back of the spoon, I'm mashing. You could take, if you want, you can take the cinnamon sticks out or the peel, but I'm just going to mash and mash till I get all the syrup out. I also have a little bit spilled, and I'm just going to put a plug. Yes, you can use it. You can use it in tea. I like to use it just as is, but people do put it in tea. Absolutely. Some people don't add the honey. I have to tell you, this tastes delicious, but be aware there's a lot of sugar in this. So some people will just make the liquid, but I've tasted it. It's very bitter without the honey. You do have alternatives though, especially if you have a young child. You can use agave syrup or maple syrup, a date syrup. You can use something else if you have a young child and you don't want to use the honey, but you can just put this into your tea. But let me give you a warning. Never eat the raw elderberries. It's very dangerous. They will cause gastric upset. I read on Amazon somebody didn't know and they just poured some of these into a smoothie and they got really sick from it. These have to be cooked. Otherwise, there's a natural chemical in it that is just not good for you and will cause your stomach to get really upset. Once you cook it, it's fine. So that's important too. But so don't put these in, but you can put this plain in your tea or the syrup that we make. Being it's sweet, of course you can add it to your tea. You can add it once you make the syrup, you can add it to your smoothie. It's really good. You can do with it whatever you want. And again, remember, this is my favorite version, but you can do so many different things with it. All right, you can probably press and press, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to go around one more time. I don't know through the sieve how much more is really coming out, but it's fun. It's fun to make, and it's satisfying. You know, they say with children, if they help cook the foods that they make, then they're more likely to eat them. There's just something about having your hand in it. Now I'm going to do something a little radical. We really want to move on with this, but I have a thermometer, but we can't put the honey in till this is at least under 115 degrees. It's much hotter than that. So in the interest of time, I'm going to go to the freezer and get an ice cube or two, and I'm going to put some ice in here to bring the temperature down. This is not something that you have to do at home. It doesn't matter if it dilutes it just a little bit, but it'll move things along. So let me just quickly get some ice so that you can see the completion of this recipe. Let's just put one in. It's like, remember when you used to try to quick set Jell-O and you put an ice in it? Again, I used more elderberries than the standard recipe. The standard recipe is 1 cup elderberry to 4 cups syrup, and I used 1.5 cup of elderberries. So this isn't going to do anything to it. So I'll stir this around. I divided it to cool it quicker. Eventually I'll put it back together. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'm going to get that lemon essential oil ready, because that really, for me, that's the secret sauce. That's what makes this just so good. So here's my lemon essential oil. I'm going to put the others away. Again, you can put in the clove, you can put in the ginger, you could do whatever you like, but this is just my favorite recipe. And while that's cooling, I'm almost done, but a plug for, there's a video also. I make my own wipes with the Thieves Household Cleaner and Citrus Fresh Essential Oil. These wipes are all natural. There's no chemicals. There's no pesticides like in Clorox wipes. They smell great, and they're fun to use. And again, you have your hand into making them. And there's a video on YouTube how to do that. And then I keep them nearby because, again, this stains and it drips. So let's see what temperature we're up to. Okay, let's see. Up here we are at, we're going up to 111, 100. Okay, this is still over 115. Yeah, this is still way too hot for the honey. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, while this is cooling, I'll tell you a couple of other things that we do, my family, to stay healthy in the winter. We use preventative. I told you about Thieves Essential Oil. We also use 2 very strong oils, thyme and oregano. And you could look up the properties. Essential oils have chemical compounds in them. They're not man-made chemical compounds. They're natural chemical compounds. But they're antibacterial, they're antiviral, they're antifungal. The molecules in these oils are tiny. They're not like big fatty oils like olive oil or coconut oil. So I put roller tops on these for my family, and we roll this on the bottom of our feet every morning and every night. When you put oils on the bottom of your feet, the large pores in the bottom of your feet suck up the oil. It gets in your bloodstream, it goes through all the cells, and it just helps, again, keep you healthy. We do that preventative. The oregano and the thyme do smell very strong. They smell like pizza. So if you want something not as strong smelling, you can use the Thieves. We also do nasal swathing with essential oils so that anything we breathe in our respiratory system goes through the oils. As I said, we gargle with them. We put them in capsules. There's just so much that you can do. We also use silver. We take supplements. We take vitamin C and vitamin D, zinc, all according to your doctor's recommendation. But again, that feeling of being proactive, just like taking the syrup every day, it's just so good for you. All right, so this might be doing it. Let's see, we're up to 112, 150. All right, we're still a little high. Let me just see this one. All right, this one's cooling. So Just say if you could bear with me for another minute. I have my, oh, you know what? I can put this in. This will even cool it down. That's a great idea because that's not heat sensitive. So that was just the juice of one orange and one lemon. It's not necessary, but I think it makes this taste just delicious. All right, that will have diluted it. Let's check again. Make sure we're at the right temperature. Okay, we're still a little over 115. Let's see this one. Okay, this one's ready, but I want to put them together. So let me put this one in here and hopefully it'll cool it all down. And let's get this out of the way. You see, I spilled it. Be careful of the surface you work on. Have healthy wipes. You know, the other thing is, just so I'll stir it to just try to cool it down before we add the honey. If you're going to do all these things to keep your family healthy, please use healthy cleaners, especially in your kitchen and near your food. So this should almost be ready. It was very close, so let me give it one more shot and then add the honey. Okay, we're in the 80s, 90s. We want to stay under 115. Let's see, maybe. Ah, 112, 113. I think it's going to stop at 113. Okay, I think we're good. All right, now remember what I told you about the honey coming out easily? Also, I have a nice spatula type spoon. And the honey's going to come out really, we'll get every bit of it and it won't stick. If you can all see. Stir that up. And you want to stir that good because the honey tends to go to the bottom. And this is just, again, so satisfying. And especially when you feed this to your family and you know that you made it. Right, and then the last thing I'm going to do, just want to stir that really well, is to put, I really love the taste of the lemon. I like to put 6 drops of the Young Living Lemon Essential Oil. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll give it a little bit stir, and then you'll put it in your favorite container. While I finish up, it's last chance. If any of you have any questions, you can put them in the comments, or you can put them in the comments later. If you're watching this on YouTube, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I usually don't say that in my videos, but I really would appreciate it if you like learning about natural living and essential oils. And also, if you have a chance, you could check out my blog articles on my website, homehealthandspirit.com. So this is it. It's helpful. I'm not going to pour it. You guys have been here a long time. You have a funnel and you have your choice. I'm going to divide this up to give it to a couple different people. So I'll be putting it in different bottles. And I have this like healthy elixir syrup to keep me and my family healthy. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It was a pleasure. Have a good night. Bye-bye.